everybody, welcome back to another Random Sam Epic Mom. Alright, so, as you can see, I'm with all my books, as usual. And I was recently sent a comment from one of our viewers, CPeanut29. So just shout out to you, thank you for leaving us a nice comment. Always appreciate those guys. And CPeanut asked for some tips on reading. Now, there are some people out there who just love to read, and it just comes naturally to them. Then there's other people who start to read more as they get older in life, once you stop having to read just what the teachers assign you. And that's the trick. And there are a lot of times you'll get in a slump where you just can't really get into a book. So here are some tips I want to give you guys. Before we get into the actual reading books like this, there's a lot of different options out there. There's a lot of audiobooks available, ebooks, all that. Now, one of the things I like about ebooks is that you can't just jump in like I can do. Like this one, I can jump here and then go back here if I've reread it. With ebooks, you usually can't do that. You actually have to follow along. So those are really great for that because they keep you focused. But audiobooks are really neat too. Now, recently my mom was visiting me and we got talking about books because we both readers, and she loves audiobooks. And she brought up a really interesting point to me, is that once you, not only the type of books that you like to read, but the actual readers. There's different voice actors who will read the books out. They'll kind of have a better cadence for you to follow along. So again, if you find you like to do the audiobooks and you're having trouble finding a new book to get into, look at who you've enjoyed in the past listening to and see who else they have read for. So that kind of gives you guys some ideas. Now, if you guys are having trouble, just getting into a book, a couple things you can do to really help you do better. Now, first off, the minute you start making it that it's, I've got to read, the minute you turn it into a chore, it loses all its appeal. And you're just going to put that book off. Now, if you don't know which type of genre you like to read, or you want to try a new genre, again, a lot of times authors will have, at the back of their books, they'll have a recommendation, bring up other books in that type of genre. But again, if you guys are struggling, anthologies are great because they're shorter books and they get you to see if you're into those. Now, I'm one of those weird people who, I'm a book hoarder, obviously, and I can reread a series, and I love that. If you are reading a series, guys, here's the tip. I have quite a few series that have something like 20 to 40 books, if not more. And they just keep going and going and going. I have other ones that are like 3-packs and such. Now, if you were going to be doing a long series, what I recommend is this. You break it up into 3 to 4 books. Heck, even just 2 books at a time. And then you throw in a different author in between it. That way you're not getting burnt out, because this is really easy to do. You could read the same author, read all their books, and about halfway through you're just getting burnt out because you just read it and it's the same style of writing. You need to, mix it up. So again, if you're doing a series and it's longer than 6 books, break it up so it's, you're not killing yourself. Again, the anthologies are great because they get you an idea. But once you do have an author that you enjoy, it can get difficult because a lot of times I will get into a mood where I want to read a Western, or I want to read sci-fi or paranormal, or maybe even just Highland, that type of fiction. And again, you got to think about what you're in the mood for. Now, another tip I can give you guys is I always carry a book with me. There's always a book in my purse. And it is a habit I've gotten all of my kids into. Heck, even my eldest carries around at least 2 books with him all the time. So having a book like that is good. If you are ever really struggling, find a book that you've read at least twice, because it's easier to get into, and you'll notice that if it's a book you've read multiple times, you can just skim over like the thes and ands and are, because you've already got the rhythm of them. Having a book on you, though, gives you the chance that if you're waiting in line, if you're having to just pretty much wait anything, waiting is just a pain in the butt, or you have a little bit of time to kill while you're waiting for somebody to show up, or you're just bored out of your mind, or you're tired of playing the same video game or whatever, having that book available will actually help encourage you to be reading, because it's, you might read a sentence or two and it's going to be like, oh, hey, I want to read another page. And it always seems to be that way, that if you only have a limited amount of time, all of a sudden you just don't want to put it down. So again, that's one way to do it. Again, I'm trying to think of some really helpful tips, guys, but at this point, it is pretty much just finding something you can enjoy reading. If you are really struggling, reading an old favorite, reading an anthology, taking a break, and I'm a big reader, I can read a book a day. But there comes a time when it's like, you know what, I need a break, I need to do it. So give yourself a break. Like if you're really struggling that you can't get into any book, and I will end up staying up till the middle of the night going through, skimming books, trying to choose which one I want to read, which author am I in the mood for. And when you get to that point, all you're doing is flooding your brain with possibilities and not really clearing it out. So take a day, take a couple days, give yourself a break from the books. Shh, I didn't really say that. And then take a fresh start. Again, another one, a lot of people probably won't believe me in this, but watch a couple movies. If you were into like watching Jurassic Park, or a thriller like Red, or The Expendables, or Aliens, or, you just get a movie going on. Like my daughter loves to rewatch the Harry Potter movies while she's reading the books. Don't do that, guys. You start comparing the book to... Don't. Do not do it. But if you start watching like a set of movies, or you're just in the mood to... It doesn't have to be the same, set like all the Tremors movies. But you get kind of that attitude of that setting. And then you go around and then get a book that kind of matches up to that setting. That can really help get your mind receptive to it. And again, guys, you can try, there are speed reading courses, there are lots of tricks that you can find online, but it really comes down to this. You have to be in the mood to read, you need to be able to really enjoy that author's reading, and you need to know when you need to take a break. That is the hardest thing for me, is I never know when to take a break. So again, I'm probably not the best person to do that. But again, with reading tips, again, it's very hard to put books down if you're a big reader. But setting goals for yourself as something as simple as, okay, I'm going to read at least one chapter, but no more than 3 chapters tonight. Or I'm going to try a new author tonight. And some authors are kind of hard to, get into. They kind of drag on at the beginning, but then it's really great. So, again, it's trying to push through that dragging time. If you have a book that you truly want to read, but you're having trouble getting into it, it's a terrible thing to say, but what's a good example? All right. Book I've read several times. The beginning is so many, it's like, oh, yeah, and you get to it. I've read a book more than once. Sometimes it's like, okay, skip the first 30 pages and jump in there. And that might help because you're right into when it's starting to get interesting, helping you out. But again, guys, if you are struggling, try a different author. Try reading to your kids. I love reading to my kids because it gets me better in the mood. But there are times I get burnt out on reading all my romance stories. So I'll read something like Clive Cussler, I love his writing and such. Or I'll get into reading a young adult story or the little chapter books that I read when I was in like middle school. Because I don't care how old you get, if a book's enjoyable for you, reread it. Reread little things. I have a whole bunch of little kids' books that I bought because I read them as a little kid and I read them to my kids. And I'll read them and think of great story ideas and other books to read. So again, think about what your mental state is at the time, what type of book that you're going to do. During the holidays or, birthday times, it gets very stressful and it's very depressing. So you don't really want to read a book that's too, heavy into that emotional genre. Okay, you don't want to have the depressing and dragging books. I mean, if you can read the classics, good on you. But again, guys, just a few little tips. Sea Peanut, I hope a couple of these will help you. If not, I'm sorry. And again, go find a book that's going to work for you. Because again, there's going to be authors out there that you just cannot read. And other ones that you just can't put down. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Please, if you have tips, share them in the comments too. Bye, guys. Hey, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Please check out our other videos already on YouTube. And give us a like and subscribe. And if you hit that bell for notifications, you'll know when we put something new out. So try to make every day matter by finding the fun. You guys have a great one. Bye.